What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this one, guys, we're going to talk about the best wildcard drafts for the double game week 23. So if you liked the video today, guys, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. And with that, let's start today's video. Now, before we get into the drafts for the wildcard in double game week 23, I think it's important to understand why you should use the wildcard. Now, in case if you're far out from your ideal team, let's say if there are a lot of players from Arsenal, from Man City, or even players from teams like Everton, Liverpool, Wolves are not there in your team. Now in that case, I think you should wildcard. There are a lot of advantages that you can get or you can gain in the short run by choosing players from these teams and having these options, especially with all these teams having a double game week. And I think in that case, you should use the wildcard. Now, it also helps you balance the blank in Game Week 25. So, Game Week 25 is a blank for teams like Man United, Newcastle, Brentford, and Brighton. So, if you have a lot of these players and if you possibly have to take a lot of hits to replace them, then in that case as well, guys, I think the wildcard is pretty much well suited. Now, one more reason of using the wildcard in double game week 23 is that in case if you want to change in team structure. So, let's say, for example, if you're playing with 3 strikers and now you want to play with 2, or maybe if you're playing with 4 midfielders and you want to upgrade a 5th midfielder as well. Now in that case, you may have to take a few hits. The budget might not be enough for that particular player, and I think in that case, guys, you can easily use the wildcard and not take a lot of hits. So there's no right or wrong answer here. It's very team dependent. If your team really needs it, then absolutely smash that wildcard button, guys, and take the advantage. Now, one more thing to discuss before we get into the first draft is the updated information on blank and double game weeks. Now, Arsenal and Man City, they have a confirmed double game week in game week 23. Then Man United, Brighton, Newcastle and Brentford, as I mentioned earlier, they all blank in Game Week 25. Then we have Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool and Wolves. They double in Game Week 25. Then we come to Game Week 28 and teams like Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton, Nottingham Forest and Newcastle. They all play in Game Week 28. So they all have a fixture in Game Week 28, a confirmed fixture in Game Week 28. Coming to the next condition, we have one of Liverpool versus Fulham or Wolves versus Leeds. That is a potential blank fixture. Now this is because of the fact that Fulham is against Leeds in the FA Cup game in the 5th round and only one team can go through. So one of these fixtures will be a blank game. Then at the end, guys, we have Southampton, Tottenham, Man City, West Ham, Brighton, Man United, Brentford and Leicester. They all have a possibility of blanking in Game Week 28. So these could be the teams that blank in Game Week 28. Now all this information is courtesy Ben Crennan. Now he's been doing an amazing job on blank and double game week information for a long time now, guys. And in case if you do not follow him, make sure to follow him on Twitter for all the information related to blank and double game weeks. Now let's move on to the first draft, guys. Now first draft is basically focusing on attacking the double game week in Game Week 23 and then also kind of making a balance in terms of the blanks and the doubles in Game Week 25. So we are well set up for double Game Week 23 with 3 players from Man City and Arsenal. We're going triple city attack and a balanced 3 from the Arsenal team. We're going for 1 Arsenal defender in Gabriel. Then we have Odegaard as probably the best midfielder in the game right now for the Arsenal team. And then we have Nketiah among the forwards. So it's a pretty much balanced Arsenal trio. Then we've not gone for a Man City defender here, and might be surprising and shocking for a few people is just because of the fact that there could be some rotation in there. We still don't know who the nailed backline is for Man City. Plus they're not keeping clean sheets. Their numbers are pretty average. And I think there's much more upside in going for the attackers, especially when we know that there could be rotation across the Man City squad, guys. So I think there's a lot of benefit in going for the triple attack, and that's why we've gone for De Bruyne, Mahrez and Haaland as a 3 City players. Now we've also gone for Kilman and Tarkowski, guys. That covers off the doubles in Game Week 25 for Wolves and Everton. They both should start as the respective centre backs for their teams, guys. And I think it pretty much takes care of the blank as well. We do not have a lot of players from Newcastle and Man United. We only have Trippier, who we can easily bench for the blank in Game Week 25. In this draft, we have Bueno, and Bueno might not be a starter. So if you have some additional money, you can get in Dawson from Wolves. He's a new signing for Wolves. I think he will start majority games. Or in case if you do not want to go Wolves because you already have a cover in Kilman, you can even go for Mings from Aston Villa if you want a 5th playing defender. So I think that's the ideal transfer in that regard, guys. Now in terms of our midfield, it's pretty much template. The only difference or the only differential maker could be Gray from Everton, guys. Now it's a shot in the dark. We still do not know how Everton are going to perform under Sean Dyche. I feel that they're going to be very strong defensively, and players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, even Gray, I think they could do well on the counter if that's what he opts for. That's what Sean Dyche plays, and I think Gray could be a great differential. So in case if you're not convinced with Gray, maybe you can go for a cheaper Bailey as well from Aston Villa. I think that also covers your Game Week 25 and 28 fixtures as well. Now, in case if you again do not trust Bailey as well, then you can even go for Andres Pereira, who's still a cheap option, who's still a great option from the Fulham team. Now, he won't have the double anytime soon, but I think he still covers off the fixtures pretty well. In terms of going for the strikers, we have 3 playing strikers and 3 very good strikers in Nketiah, Kane and Haaland. Now, Nketiah and Haaland both have a double game week fixture in Game Week 23, and then Kane is in great form irrespective of the fixtures, irrespective of not having a double game week, guys. I think Kane can easily outscore most of the forwards out there. I think Kane is still a great option to go for. Now let's talk about the second draft here, guys. Now we have an alternate draft to the 3-4-3 that we first showed. Now in this one, guys, the defense is the same as the last draft, but instead of an Arsenal defender, now we're going for Akanji. I think Akanji is one of the better options from that Man City defense. Now in case if you really want to cover that Man City defense, which is again not very essential, you can still go for Akanji. I know there's a lot of conversation around Lewis and he's a very cheap option. So in case if you are probably getting shut from buying a certain player, only in that case you go for a Lewis. Otherwise, I think Akanji is a very good option to go for. Now this team also follows a 3-4-3 and we're going for a strong midfield 4 here as well. We've gone for a double up on the Arsenal team in Odegaard and Saka. I think they're the best 2 options to go for in the Arsenal midfield. Then we have a premium spot covered by KDB, which can easily become a Salah, for example, in case if you want to go there, especially when Liverpool have a double in Game Week 25. Then there's Bailey and Rashford as slightly cheaper options. Rashford, because of the form that he's in, and Bailey, as I mentioned, covers off your Game Week 25 and 28 fixtures. So I think it's a pretty solid midfield. Then in terms of the attack here, guys, we've gone for Nketiah and Haaland, similar to our first draft. And instead of Kane, we've gone for Darwin Núñez. So in case if you feel or if you want to punt, if you want to go a bit aggressive on the Liverpool double, I think you can go for Darwin Núñez. Yes, Liverpool is still not sure enough for us to invest in them, but I think if you want to do things a bit differently, if you are chasing rank or if you are chasing your rivals in the mini leagues, I think in that case Darwin Núñez could be a potential option. As always, there's a trade-off, and the trade-off here is that you won't be getting in Harry Kane. Now, in case if you want to go back to Harry Kane, you can do that by making certain downgrades, or if you just have enough funds to directly go from Darwin to Harry Kane, you can easily do that and not go for Darwin Núñez. Now, let's move on to the third draft. Now, this draft is a good draft with the attacking triple ups of Arsenal and Man City. So, instead of going for their defenders, we've gone for an attacking triple up from both these teams. I think it looks pretty solid. We have Odegaard, Nketiah and Saka as the Arsenal triple up, and then we have Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez and Haaland as the Man City triple up. It's a bit risky because you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket, and in a case where the attack doesn't fire in one particular game, I think there could be a lot of rank loss, but I think this is also very aggressive, and if these teams do really well in the double game week, and especially if Arsenal versus Man City is a high scoring game, then I think in that case, guys, this draft is going to score a lot of points. Now, we also have a double up in Liverpool with Robertson and Darwin. Now, I understand, as I mentioned earlier, if you're not convinced with the Liverpool options, you maybe go for a differential option or a different option in general. But in case if you are looking to go aggressive and if you feel a bit punty, then I think Robertson plus Darwin Núñez could be a great pick. You also have Kevin De Bruyne, who can become Salah in Game Week 25 if Liverpool shows some good signs in attack or even in defense, and maybe they can keep clean sheets all of a sudden. So that's the direction here. It's a bit risky, it's a bit aggressive, but then if this comes off, guys, I think this is gonna be a lot better than the earlier 2 drafts. If you want Kane in this particular draft, guys, you can basically downgrade Robertson and then you can invest that additional money and upgrade a Darwin Núñez, and that way you will be basically getting rid of your Liverpool players. Now, in case if you're not convinced with Liverpool options, I think that's the direction, that's the way you look at. So these are some of the top drafts for the double game week 23 wildcard, guys. Do let me know which one do you prefer. Do let me know if you're using your wildcard in the double game week 23 or when are you using it. Do let me know in the comments below. So that'll be all from my side for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and liked the video today. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL related content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.